This is Jakarta. But this is also Jakarta. Let's go back in time to centuries ago to trace back the footsteps and identity of Jakarta.
The birth of Jakarta lies here, amid the heat-scorching sun that shone upon hundreds of busy ships from all corners of the globe that anchored in the port centuries ago. Dating back to the 5th century, Sunda Kelapa Harbor was the most important hub of the spices trade. It was also the first gateway to Old Batavia, or the old capital of Dutch East Indies, covering the present-day Indonesian provinces of Jakarta, Banten, and West Java.
Ya, jadi Pelabuhan Sunda Kelapa adalah pelabuhan yang menjadi cikal bakal dari berdirinya kota Jakarta. Nah, tidak ada pelabuhan ini, maka tidak mungkin lahir Jakarta sampai hari ini.
Kenapa itu, Kang?
Nah, karena berkat pelabuhan inilah kawasan yang sekarang kita kenal Jakarta, dulu sejak abad ke-5 itu sudah ada interaksi, sudah ada hubungan dagang antara wilayah-wilayah yang ada di Nusantara, dari mulai Sumatera, Kalimantan, bahkan sampai Sulawesi. Ya. Kemudian juga pelabuhan milik Kerajaan Tarumanegara sejak abad ke-5 itu juga disinggahi oleh para pedagang dari India, ya, kemudian Jepang sampai Cina Selatan. Jadi memang hubungan dagang itu yang menjadikan pelabuhan ini kemudian menjadi pelabuhan dagang paling ramai. Ini menurut Tomé Pires, ya, dari orang Portugis, yang dia menulis dalam bukunya Suma Oriental. Jadi sejak abad ke-5 pelabuhan ini begitu dikenal oleh berbagai bangsa, terutama di Asia.
In 1885, the Dutch East Indies moved the international route to Tanjung Priok Harbor, and Sunda Kelapa became a traditional cargo port in the 1970s due to its rich maritime history. Today, the harbor is woven with stories of conquest, trade, and exploration, as a glimpse of the past lingers with the fading sights of sailors, wooden pinisi boats, and fragrant aroma of spices. Not far from here stood the point zero of the Batavia Meridian that served as an important reminder of Jakarta's maritime landscape. Located at the present-day Jakarta Maritime Museum in North Jakarta, Point Zero is situated at the same location as the Shah Bandar Tower, which was a watchtower built in 1839. It served as a tax office for cargo unloaded at Sunda Kelapa Harbor. Gazing into the present, I could not help but wonder, what stories do these towers hold, whose footsteps echoed on this wooden floor? If these walls could talk, perhaps they would tell us the stories of its old glory, how this tower once stood tall as our city's pride and symbol, guarding one of the busiest ports in Asia at that time. Across the tower is the West VOC warehouse that was used to store spices, coffee, tea, and textiles before being shipped to Asia and Europe. The warehouse extended far to the east, specifically to Tongko Street, Ancol, North Jakarta in the present day. Unlike the west side, this East VOC warehouse has been long abandoned, left only with the ruins of bricks and bruises of memories. This warehouse was built around the time when Batavia was created by the Dutch East Indies. At the time, a castle was built to surround the city with a fort spreading out to 4 sides: northwest, northeast, southeast, and southwest.
Posisinya itu sekarang kita berada di dalam gudang sisi timur. Nah, gudang sisi timur itu diperkuat dinding tembok kota Batavia. Nah, ini adalah dinding tembok kota Batavia yang juga menempel ke gudang itu. Nah, posisi gudang ini sekarang sudah dihancurkan, sama kurang lebih seperti ini gedungnya. Nah, gedung yang ini ada di dalam sini. Jadi ini bekas, kalau kita lihat ini bekas kayu-kayu melintang sebagai lantai 2. Ya, yang bolong-bolong ini, dulunya kayu. Jadi kayu penopang untuk lantai 2. kemudian nanti dikasih papan.
Built with 2 floors, the warehouse had a very strict patrols and security system, as it stored the Dutch most valuable treasure, spices. However, the gold and glory remained in the past, as the warehouse stands in silence amid the overgrown weeds and crumbling walls, getting lost to the passage of time. In 2018, the Governor Jakarta made a decision to set this warehouse as a cultural heritage. However, the reality stems further from that.
Nah, gudang ini menjadi saksi penting bagi sejarah kolonial yang kurang lebih 350 tahun itu. Nah, kalau saja kita bisa menjaga gedung ini ya sebagai bukti ya Jakarta yang usianya 497 tahun itu, saya kira ini akan menjadi bukti satu-satunya yang penting. Gitu. Sayang kondisi gedung hari ini semakin hari. Saya 25 tahun sudah ke sini. Ya, 25 tahun yang lalu dan saya melihat masih ada gedung, masih ada atap ya. Sekarang atapnya sudah hilang, tinggal yang ini, tinggal satu-satunya gedung yang ini. Dulu masih ada tiang-tiang, ada sisa-sisa reruntuhan di sini banyak, tapi sudah hilang. Ada sumur tua, sumurnya juga udah nggak ada. Sekarang udah tinggal segini dan kalau dibiarkan terus-menerus lama-lamanya akan hilang dan Jakarta hanya tinggal cerita nantinya.
Our final destination landed in Jakarta's most popular historical monument, the Jakarta History Museum, or better known as Museum Fathahillah. Fathahillah, a Cirebon commander who allied with the Demak Kingdom, conquered Sunda Kelapa from the Pajajaran Kingdom and the Portuguese on June 22, 1527, marking the birth of Jakarta.
Kebesaran Jakarta hari ini tidak terlepas dari masa lalunya yang gemilang. Maka Jayakarta artinya kemenangan yang gilang gemilang, gitu ya. Jadi Jakarta itu adalah kota yang dibentengi dan Jayakarta diambil dari kata Jayakarta. Jayakarta itu dalam bahasa Arabnya inna fatahna laka fathan mubinan, artinya kemenangan yang sempurna. Sejak tahun 1500 ya, itu semakin menjadi kota yang dipandang oleh berbagai bangsa di dunia. Jadi menjadi kota global sejak 1500 tahun. Nah, saksinya adalah gedung ini. Gedung Museum Sejarah Jakarta dibangun tahun 1707 ya. Dan diresmikan tahun 1710. Sampai hari ini gedung ini masih bersaksi.
This museum was originally built as a city hall or stadhouse in the Dutch era. It then served as a court, a church, and the West Java Governor's Office before Jakarta's autonomy in the late 1950s. However, the museum also buried a dark past. It once served as a prison for Indonesian rebels who fought for our nation's independence. This room was a male prison for more than 100 prisoners, where each of them was tied to a heavy iron ball to prevent them from moving. They would starve without food, water, and sanitation, and eventually died one by one. Meanwhile, the female prison is located deeper underground, with hundreds of prisoners set here, with water seeping in that reaches up to waist height. Standing tall in the present day, the museum is a witness to the city's history, where the echoes of rebellion resonate through its walls. In the mosaic of Jakarta's past, these places remain as the living testament of our ancestors' history. Under these ruins and bricks are buried stories of our collective struggles, endless fights, and silent cries to triumph over our land that is marked by our sweats and tears. And this victory gives birth to what we see as Jakarta today, a boulevard of hopes and dreams, and an ever-changing space which continues to write its own destiny. Adelia Dinda and Sri Rizky for See Today.